SOD is getting a little bit boring right now for a lot of people, and maybe you're in a guild or maybe you're running a guild and you're worried about how the roster seems to be shrinking or people are getting more flaky and what you could do about it. An obvious solution is, of course, to recruit more people, but that's not very comfortable. If the way that your guild would continue raiding is just that you end up with 19 new faces and you're the only one around, you could easily wonder, well, what's the point? Something that you can address that's annoying to address is, why do people stop playing WoW? They stop doing things when they think it's no longer worth their time. There are things that are pretty fun in the game, and there are things that are chores that can help make the fun things stick out a bit more. So you could think getting world buffs, farming consumes, that type of shit. Now, what could you do as a guy in a guild or as a guild leader that can interact with this in any way whatsoever? If you make a process by which your guildies get the world buffs together, that can make it so it's a lot less painful. This is one example. What if the way you organized your raid team was, instead of, hey guys, we're going to do Sunken Temple from 5 to 6 p.m., instead it was, raid night is 5 to 7:30, and what you do is you go destroy Sunken Temple, and then you all get a ZG buff together and you distribute the mojos from the raid so everyone can buy their flasks. And then you have a summoner alt, so you can summon everybody to get a song flower together. You all get the song flower. So it's, you get the ZG buff, all right? You don't bottle it. You get the ZG buff, you don't bottle it. You get summoned to a song flower. You then bottle the ZG buff and the song flower, and then you get summoned to Dark Moon Fair every other week. All right, so you get summoned to some spot, and then you break the group up into groups of 5, and you have people on alts queue people for BGs, and then you sit around and just talk shit with each other for however long it takes for the BGs to pop. And if you had a system like that, you would then make it so the only thing that a raider has to do that fucking sucks would be getting consumes. You can interact with that also. What's something you could do? Well, if your guild's really tight, this is maybe a little weird, but if your guild's really tight, you could GDKP the fucking vanity items. That way you could give everybody some gold, all right? You could do that. It's not going to be popular. A lot of people would be like, oh, I can't fucking believe that. I would rather break the fucking TOS than have my stupid fucking guild die. You kidding me? Duh. Duh. People don't like farming gold. It fucking sucks. Right now, you imagine, what's your average raider's experience if they want to get buffs and consumes? Oh, I'm going to farm like an hour for raid, and then I'm going to spend an hour running between all the buffs. Maybe I'm going to get griefed once it's Songflower, and then wait 20 minutes on a fucking BGQ all alone to get Dark Moon Fair. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. That's a lot of work to then go into a raid, and that's if your raid's good, and then at least the raid gets to be fucking awesome. What if you eliminate all those problems? If you can find a way to make it so people either don't need as much gold, or they don't need to spend as much time farming gold, a way to make it so getting the world buffs is less painful. And even better, if you can make it fun, if you can do it as a team, you can find a way to make getting world buffs actually be fun. Maybe it's literally just hanging out in Discord. Maybe you could play stupid party games off some website, like that jackbox.tv shit. There's lots of ideas. Fucking play Among Us while you're waiting on BGQs for DMF. Whatever. Be creative. You know what your guys fucking like. If you could make it so the shit parts of the game are less shitty, then it's going to be easier for people to want to stick around. Because people bail on your guild, on the game, on you, when what they gotta put in is too much for what they get out. That's what it's all about. And people are gonna tell you bullshit reasons why they stop playing. They're gonna be like, oh, my schedule at work changed. Oh, I gotta start walking the dog at that time. Oh, kids, blah, blah, blah. It's fucking bullshit. No matter, literally, even if those things are true, I don't fucking think that playing with your ass is worth what I gotta put in. And maybe that's because I don't like you, and so you're making it not worth it, and you should be cooler, or maybe it's the game. But either way, you're balancing those two things and you have control over them. In 2019 Classic, I was running a guild with another guy, and we didn't know that parsing was a thing originally, and we didn't really know world buffs were a thing that people took seriously for quite a while. And then we found out they existed, and we were like, fuck, how are we going to get everybody to get this? This seems like it's going to be a lot of work. We didn't realize at the time you can literally just tell people you got to fucking get it. So what did we do? We got a rotation with redundancy in case people didn't show up for warlock summoners to grab the fucking world buffs. Okay, we made getting world buffs a team activity that was fucking painless. If you didn't get buffs on your own, you were able to log on for a 40-man raid environment. We had two 40-mans running. You could get on 2 hours before raid, and we had both the 40-mans running at the same time for a while. You get on 2 hours before raid, and you'd guaranteed get all your world buffs. It was awesome. Now, in the case of Sod, it's not going to take you that long. So in my suggestion for you would be you nail the fucking raid, and then you do all the buffs as a team. You could maybe flip the script and say that you're going to get the buffs as a team and then do the raid, which is superior, probably, but it's hard to implement now that your team's probably very cemented with their schedules. But most of the guys you play with will be able to stay on a little bit longer after raid if they think in their head that it's a good use of their time. And if what you're offering them is get your world buffs in a painless way and hang out with the boys, or do it all on your own, it's an easy sell. All right, it's an easy sell. So those are the big things you're going to want to tackle to make it so your raid team doesn't explode. You can get better at recruiting, which is uncomfortable, and you don't want to be on a treadmill of just replacing people who quit. It's not going to be fun. If you're running one of the best guilds in the world, maybe it's worth it for you. But otherwise, fuck that. It's not worth it. You want to instead make it so you have super long average tenure. How are you going to do that? You're going to make the things that suck less. You're going to make things that rock more. So hey, if you haven't done this already, get your fucking raids to be better, all right? Get your fucking raids to be better. It doesn't mean you have to be a dickhead, but using whatever tools are acceptable for your group, make your raids perform better or make them more fun. It's hard to make them more fun without just making them better. It's the lowest skill way to make them more fun. Make preparing for raids suck less. So that's the thing you can really focus on. I suggest finding ways to do all the world buffs as a team. Maybe encourage people not to use the super expensive consumes like firewater. You know, firewater's probably half of someone's fucking consume expenses. You could just be like, hey guys, don't use fucking firewater. If your boys aren't super into parsing, they'll probably be kind of stoked if you say that. If they are super into parsing, then maybe you don't have to worry about them quitting as much. Anyways, who knows? Have summoner alts. Get fucking summoner alts. It's so easy to get a level 20 warlock in all these places. You can do it with a couple people. Have some redundant characters. Get like 2 summoner alts. You have one. Find one other guy in the guild to have one. Pay them fucking gold if you need to make it so that way it doesn't feel like such a bitch for them, even though it should be like really easy. Get an alt account and level a second fucking warlock on it. Whatever. You care about your guild, right? Get some summoners, get them at fucking DMF, get them at a weird songflower, a fucking weird one. That way you can reliably get that shit, all right? And you can just fly to the ZG Island. You know, that's no big deal. You're going to get the ZG buff, get summoned to Songflower, then bottle, and the game plan with the Dark Moon Fair buff is you BGQ people, you all run in as a group, you get the buff, you don't fucking fight, you get the buff, you take the fucking BGQ, and then you log out. Okay, you AFK and you log out, and then they can, on their own time, get back into the game and bottle their shit up. You might have to coach people on how to get the Dark Moon Fair buff and not die. Okay, have the Warriors fucking shield wall, the Priests can dispersion, Druids can go bear form and pop a bunch of things. You pop out of form when you talk to people. Okay, so remember that. Maybe use some protection potions, whatever. Have people fap when they're running in for Dark Moon Fair. It's not that hard. I get it solo every fucking week. Use your brain, come up with a way to solve these problems for your raiders, and then when they are thinking about quitting, they're going to be like, all right, what is this guild? What is this game to me? hang out for like 35 minutes and we shit talk each other and have a good time and we get all of our raid prep done. I'm probably never gonna get the turn into a statue thing because we GDKP it, but I don't have to farm ever. And then I get to have a good hour in raid, and maybe the game will get better in the future. But right now I spend maybe 100 minutes a week playing Season of Discovery. It's a good experience, and then I have a little bit of connection to these guys that I don't know well enough to stick around if the experience wasn't so good. That's the kind of thing you can start offering people, and then it'll be a better deal for you. And then here's another thing to keep in mind. Are you building a guild or are you building a fucking sandcastle? Because a lot of people, since SOD's not very good, like if you have a bunch of people in your guild who are like, I really like raiding retail, I really like raiding Kata, I'm in a guild, we're really good in there, and then they play with you in SOD, you're probably going to lose them eventually, dude. If you don't control the thing that is the most important to them in the World of Warcraft ecosystem, then you're building a fucking sandcastle, all right? Eventually, their priorities are going to shift, and you're going to fucking lose them. So keep that in mind, too. There's nothing wrong with canceling a guild or a raid group if it's not worth it for you. So really figure out, is this what you want to fucking do? Is it what you want to fucking do? Are you building towards something? I've been lucky in that every time I've made a guild, it's been on, the classic progression servers. And so the only thing I'd ever have to worry about is somebody's like, oh, I'm really into retail Mythic Plus raiding and I want to raid with you. And I'd just be like, nope. No, I know where this is gonna go. I'm not your priority. Fuck no. Inside, hey, it's a rough thing, so think about that. If right now 11 of your 20 raiders are saying, I consider myself a retail player, I consider myself a Kata player, and you don't run that retail guild or that Kata guild, 1 year from now, what do you think's gonna happen? Think really hard about that. Will you be happy with the work you're putting in today? Good luck for your guilds. It fucking sucks to run them, but it's also really rewarding, and you can totally do it.